So, hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728, and I wanted to talk about why I don't trust quote unquote professionals. Now, I'm a professional, and I can understand why some people might not trust me because sometimes I don't trust myself, meaning that I don't know that I can always do what I said that I could do because a lot of times I might not have done it, and that often causes me considerable concern because I don't want to have to go back to somebody and say, hey, I can't do this, or I'm worried that something that I did might break, might not work the way that I said it would or did because of a mistake that I made. But sometimes it's speaking about other people. Sometimes you call someone to do something and it's like they don't do the thing to the level of quality that you might want or expect or hope for the fact that you're paying them. In this one instance, I just wanted to give an example where there was a plumber, someone who knows plumbing, who I had asked to help with a plumbing issue. Well, I didn't really ask him. I was going to do the thing myself. And, I think my mother got into it and she suggested, or I suggested the person because that's what my mother does. She's always interested in calling someone else. I think that adding people adds complexity and makes problems a lot of times, but I think it's extra moving parts. Anyway, what happened was that there was a particular thing that needed to be removed and replaced with respect to plumbing, and it needed to be unscrewed. And as it turned out, around that same time, the person that my mother or I had, whoever suggested it, and the person came. And they came like the day after I tried to do it myself. I've done it before, but it was a long time ago. And, whatever it was, the rust had built up, so there was something that needed to be unscrewed, and here I was trying with all my might to unscrew this thing, and it just wasn't budging, But with respect to plumbing, you have to be careful sometimes because if you use your full force, you might break something and that didn't need breaking, and you're going to have to do more work than you planned. So I'd already tried. I don't know what, I probably would have tried a little bit of WD-40 or something like that. I like to, give things some time to work. So that's what I would have done, I'd probably have waited. Anyway, the guy came. It's a friendly family, good guy. He's more a friend of the family than of mine. But he came and, I deferred to the professional. I'm like, hey, you do stuff like this all the time, you take over. So he started and he seemed bigger, stronger than me and stuff. So I'm like, should be a piece of cake for him. It wasn't. It was hard because it was a long time since this thing had been removed. And I guess corrosion and stuff had its way. So yeah, it was difficult. So at one point he's like, okay, do you have a hammer? So I get the hammer and I bring it back and, it starts hammering the thing. And I think it started moving a little bit and then crack, something was broken. And instead of, simply removing a part and screwing on the new one, now we have to cut and make a joint and all this other stuff has to be done. So at this point, I'm like, oh, that's great. So anyway, I was just going to do this thing myself. But at this point where there's more stuff involved in it, and in addition to that, there were a couple of other things that he may as well have replaced, seeing as he was going to be fixing this thing. I was like, yeah, you go ahead and you can replace those two things as this thing is already broken. So he did that. But then, and this is not like, a horrible thing. I understand that things can be different when a different person is doing it. So he's not the kind of person who price checks things. And, I worked for the government and I saw that that's what the government did. And I thought, whoa, I don't do that. I should do that. I should check different prices and stuff like that. And I know there are people out there who, they've known that all their lives, but I didn't. And well, he's one of those people who didn't know it all his life, but was not really too concerned. And we had to pay, I guess, for this new part about 30% more. Now, it's not out of my pocket, so it's not really a big deal. I wonder if I feel like I've mentioned this in another video. But at any rate, the extra stuff that broke that I feel that I might not have broken, the extra expense of parts from comparison shopping, and the fact that after he was gone, it wasn't his fault, but something went wrong. Like sometimes when you move something in a car, you replace a part, but there's an old rusty hose. Well, not hose, rusty, but the hose is bad, so maybe you touch it with your hand a little bit and it shouldn't have broke if it was a good hose, but it's no longer good, so suddenly there's something else that needs to be doing. So that's what happened. I needed to not anything major, but more than I would have wanted to do. I wanted to do exactly nothing, and I had to do it anyway. So it's like, okay, that's great. But when you add in the fact that, there was an issue with the shower a while ago, and part of it, I think it was like a valve in the shower needed to be replaced. And his idea was, the same guy, we just called him, we didn't ask him to come in. His idea was just, break the tiles. You just break the tiles and you just do what you have to do, and then someone can come and retile the thing. And I'm like, how about we don't break the tiles? How about we just, chisel around the, whatever that thing is called in the shower, where the handle is, in order to be able to put a tool in there and take it out without breaking any tiles that anybody needs to come and repair. So between that idea and the fact that he did come and he was very helpful, really nice guy, but he broke something that necessitated more work than I was interested in, I don't think that I'm gonna call him to do anything else. And it's not him, it's just people in general, especially when it doesn't affect you directly. A lot of times professionals, not all of them, and there's no way to tell the difference between one and the other until after they've left, maybe even some years later. And even if you're the perfect professional, when you're living in a place where you have to do something, nobody needs to call you back. You can see exactly what went wrong, and that's what always scares me when I have to do work for someone else, that I'll look bad because something will go wrong, whether it's something that I could have predicted or not, and they have to deal with the pain of that until they just decide, yeah, it's serious enough to call them. And at that point they're upset and da-da-da-da. If it's something that I did for myself, the only person to be upset with is me, and I don't hate myself that much. So yeah, I'm right there to see that I need to do some more stuff. And then there's the thing where if I call a professional to do something, after they've gone and I've paid them, I am none the wiser. I don't know anything about what happened or what they did unless I'm standing up there watching. And in which case I might not even have the tool. I remember I had to do something that needed a big wrench or whatever. And I thought to myself, okay, I can get a professional or I can get this wrench. But when I get the wrench, I'll have the wrench forever. The professional is gone. So I went and I got the wrench. I still have the wrench and I use it from time to time for different things. I prefer to gain the knowledge, spend a little bit of time, save some money, and I'm right there next time something breaks. I don't have to call someone and work around their schedule. I don't have to be upset with them because they took a shortcut to do something in a way that I would never have done that because I have to live with it. As long as I can, I don't see any reason to call people. But that's just me maybe. If you have enough money and enough patience, because even if you have enough money, your money doesn't help you figure out who's the right person to give it to. It's not going to tell you that. So you still have to have patience to find someone who's worthy of getting your money. Anyway, that's my story. And wish me lucks. You can like or unlike. You can comment and tell me why. You can subscribe and or share. Peace. Thanks.